Cobb lives quietly under a new identity, haunted by fragments of dreams that still feel more real than waking life. Even after returning to his children, sleep never comes easy, and shadows of Mal still whisper to him in half-formed memories. One night, a stranger invades his dream uninvited and leaves behind an impossible object. Cobb realizes someone has rebuilt dream-sharing technology from the ruins of his past. The world believes the technology was buried forever after Sato's fall. But Cobb knows only someone who understands him deeply could have found it again. In the real world, corporate espionage has moved beyond servers and vaults into the human subconscious once more. Entire companies collapse overnight as secrets are extracted without a single trace of hacking. Governments deny its existence, but intelligence agencies quietly begin hunting the architects of these mental crimes. Cobb is found by a former ally who barely survived the first dream war. The warning is simple and terrifying. A new dream architect is rewriting the rules. This enemy isn't just stealing ideas anymore. They are planting beliefs that reshape reality itself. Ariadne returns reluctantly after abandoning dream work for a quiet, normal life. She has built cities of concrete now instead of imagination, yet her sketchbooks remain filled with impossible staircases. When Cobb meets her again, she sees the exhaustion behind his eyes instantly. He shows her the object left behind in his dream, and she recognizes construction far beyond her own skill. Together they realize this isn't a new player but an evolution of everything they once created. The danger now lies in emotional control at a global scale. Yusuf is pulled back in through desperation when his family becomes collateral damage of a dream-based corporate war. His sedation formulas have been recreated and weaponized by unknown hands. Streets erupt in chaos after mass dream-induced psychosis spreads like a virus. The team understands that shared dreams are being used to broadcast fear instead of steal ideas. This threat no longer targets singular minds but entire populations. The signal source traces back to somewhere that should not physically exist. They discover that the original dream infrastructure beneath Los Angeles was never fully dismantled. Layers of abandoned subconscious networks still hum with forgotten minds trapped between wakefulness and sleep. Someone has been secretly expanding these layers, creating a massive shared dream world used without consent. People unknowingly fall asleep into this hidden system every night. Cobb realizes the enemy isn't just invading dreams but building a second global reality beneath the first. Humanity is slowly being trained to accept two worlds without noticing the shift. When they enter this underground network, they find a city stitched together from stolen memories. Streets reshape themselves based on regret and fear. As Cobb walks through it, parts of the world echo memories of Mal that he never consciously remembered. Ariadne realizes the enemy has studied Cobb's subconscious in intimate detail. This world is not meant to trap intruders. It is meant to lure him. Something waits at the center of this labyrinth that only Cobb can unlock. As they descend deeper, time distortion becomes extreme and minutes outside stretch into decades inside. Entire civilizations have formed within the layers, unaware that their reality is artificial. People age, love, and die believing they are real. Cobb struggles with unbearable guilt, realizing dream technology has evolved beyond human oversight. The enemy is now using these inner civilizations as emotional computing systems. The deeper they go, the more reality and construction dissolve into one another. They encounter dream police, sentient projections designed to protect the core. These projections evolve as they fight, learning from fear and hesitation. Each death inside the dream rewires the environment, making escape harder. Yusuf barely survives a collapse of gravity that flips city blocks into the sky. Ariadne realizes the dream itself is alive now. And beyond these defenses waits the one who built a godlike simulation. At the center, Cobb confronts the new architect inside a shifting ocean city suspended between tides of memory. To his shock, the architect is a former student he once trained long before Ariadne. This person lost everything after being trapped inside limbo during a forgotten operation. Decades of isolation twisted their purpose into something monstrous yet tragically human. They believe the waking world is too broken to save. Their solution is not control, but total replacement. The architect reveals the plan to migrate humanity permanently into the dream world. People would enter under the illusion of sleep and never awaken. Aging, disease, hunger, and war would be rewritten. To make this possible, belief itself must be implanted into billions of minds. The architect has already begun seeding this desire through subconscious emotional signals. Cobb realizes they are no longer fighting a criminal but a philosopher with infinite reach. Conflict erupts through ideology rather than violence. Buildings tear apart based on moral tension rather than physics. Cobb argues that pain gives life meaning, while the architect insists meaning is built through peace. Their debate reshapes the dream city into rising lands and collapsing skies. Ariadne destabilizes the dream's structure from within. Yet each fracture spawns a new adaptive layer. Meanwhile, in the real world, the dream signal strengthens and millions fall into extended unconscious states. Hospitals overflow with smiling patients who refuse to awaken. Governments attempt to shut down networks, but the transmission no longer relies on machines. It spreads psychologically through human connection. Every emotional bond carries fragments of the dream world's invitation. Humanity unknowingly becomes its own broadcast system. Cobb's guilt deepens as he realizes everything traces back to his original work with Mel. The dream world now mirrors the paradise he once tried to build for her. His emotional blueprint became the foundation for mass psychological control. The architect accuses Cobb of abandoning responsibility after opening the door to godhood. Cobb must accept that stopping this future may require destroying everything he once created. And doing so could erase countless conscious lives born inside dreams. Ariadne discovers a hidden failsafe deep within the dream's core. It is a recursive paradox capable of collapsing the entire network through infinite contradiction. Activating it would erase every layer, every civilization, and every trapped consciousness. The team debates whether synthetic lives deserve the same right to exist as real ones. Yusuf refuses to condemn innocent minds born into dreams without choice. Cobb stands at the center of a decision no human should ever face. The architect confronts Cobb in limbo where time has no meaning. Mal's presence returns, not as memory, but as a distorted echo stitched from guilt. She speaks not as imagination but as consequence, reminding him that every choice echoes endlessly. The architect offers Cobb a place beside them as co-creator of the new eternal world. Together they could rewrite existence without pain. For the first time, Cobb truly feels the temptation. Near the surface, Ariadne and Yusuf struggle to keep their bodies alive as neurological feedback begins erasing their real-world identities. They tether themselves with shared memories, grounding each other against mental collapse. The dream world starts pulling physical matter into prolonged coma globally. Planes fall from the sky as pilots drift into artificial eternity. Cities freeze in statues of unfolding catastrophe. Time begins fracturing in both worlds. Cobb ultimately chooses to sabotage the system by reintroducing true unpredictability. He plants raw human trauma back into the dream's core, the very chaos it sought to erase. The perfect world begins cracking as grief, fear, and uncertainty return like storms. Dream-born civilizations panic as death becomes real again. The architect screams as their flawless design collapses into imperfection. For the first time, their world feels truly alive.